Hi, I'm Chris Gio from Merchant Method, and you are watching Merchant Method Trend Reports. If you are new to trend reports and trend reporting is the activity of collecting information and collecting data and studying it to see if you find patterns or trends. And Merchant Method Trend Reports specifically gather retail industry trend information and partner it with experience-based learning so that you can unlock more profit with ease. These trend reports are perfect if you are an independent retailer, a small batch manufacturer, or a maker. This week, we are talking about business analysis and competitive analysis for independent retailers. And this whole series in February is designed to show you how you can use your size to your advantage. This is in direct response to the mass number of brick and mortar retail closures that have been happening at the end of 2016 and were announced at the beginning of 2017. I want you to feel confident and I want you to feel more informed so that you can optimize your sales within your store. Filled with insights, we're going to dive in. So I want you to stay tuned to the end of this trend report because I will give you your action steps, 4 action steps to take today, this week, to move your business forward and to unlock more profit. So if you need something to write with, go ahead and press pause and find something to write with. This is a companion trend report to business agility in retail and style, selling, and sales. So those 2 reports really modernized your understanding of retail fundamentals. The reason why I wanted to do that is I wanted you to have a current understanding of applied fundamentals because our industry is changing so rapidly and I want you to keep up and I want you to forge your own way forward. So this report is going to detail different ways that you can take action, and then you'll be able to decide for yourself what you should take action on based on the time that you have, based on the resources that you have, so that you can actually focus and have a fantastic level of competitive understanding, have great competitive analysis, and use your size to your advantage. Again, I want you to make meaningful progress now. So we're going to talk about 2 things. Number 1 is different approaches. And these different approaches, I'm going to mention 3 of many. And what I love about them is if you are interested in studying other industries, or if you are outside of the retail industry but also watching, you can use any of these approaches. I won't dive into them too much, but we'll review them. And then I'm going to really focus on action steps that are effective and that are realistic for independent retail businesses, for owner-operator business owners, for small businesses, so that you're moving away from very symbolic or token competitive analysis to analysis that's really meaningful and that's actionable. The key phrase here is I want you to have actionable analysis. Okay, so different ways to approach analysis. I'm going to mention 3. The first, I hope you're familiar with, is SWOT Analysis. SWOT is an acronym that stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Typically, you would conduct the SWOT analysis of your competitors, and there are 2 big links. The first link is that opportunities can be plucked, like low-hanging fruit can be plucked if you play to your strengths, and threats can be avoided if you resolve or plug holes in your weaknesses. I'll include a link to an article from Chron, chron.com. They have a great overview of SWOT analysis for independent retailers. It's a very simple matrix. I use it myself in my competitive shopping workbook. I teach my clients to use it, and you might already be familiar with it. The second is called PEST Analysis, PEST. So P stands for understanding the political landscape. So if you happen to retail something that is highly regulated, for example, you might be retailing alcohol or you might own a gas station. If you are in a highly regulated industry, or if you have employees, for example, and employment law for your state is changing rapidly, this is going to impact you, and understanding the political levers and the political climate may be very important. E stands for economic factors. S stands for societal or social factors. So what's happening, for example, by generation, or what's happening by values. And then T is for technological factors. Technological factors have had the biggest impact in our industry by way of online shopping, and there's no going around it. There is value in both SWOT analysis and PEST analysis. You're not going to go wrong if you pursue a formal competitive analysis using any one of these three frameworks. The third is, a lot of students learn this in marketing, is Porter's 5 forces, and it is positioning yourself by understanding the threat of new entrants in the market, like who else might be able to offer what you offer. Threat of substitution, could your offer or your product quickly be outdated? Customer bargaining power, like how much leverage does your customer have based on your business? So an example of customer bargaining power could be if you run an off-price business, if you do a lot of pricing by multiples, if you do a lot of promotional business, your customer may have a lot of leverage if they become really sensitive to price and only want to buy at a lower price point. So that would be an example of customer purchasing power. Supplier purchasing power, that could be that the large company down the street has a lot of capital to buy inventory, and for you to buy inventory for that same supplier is cost prohibitive, right? So your supplier may or may not be able to give you great pricing based on how much you're buying from them. And then market rivalry. There's a lot of market rivalry in retail. Porter's 5 forces, if you chose to go this route, I might think through substitution mostly. For the fact that the way that customers substitute their desires or their needs is far different now than it was 15 years ago. And I'll talk about that in a few minutes. So whether you use SWOT analysis, PEST analysis, or Porter's 5 forces, there are a few things that these frameworks have in common. And the first is they're asking you to study what's happening externally, studying what's happening outside of your business and outside of your environment. As we study things, we need to have a contrast, and so we need to study our internal environment. And then they're all setting you up so that you can develop action steps and do something with that information. So this should be familiar with the trend report, business agility, and retail. And again, regardless of how formal and structured or how organic your analysis is, if you are studying the external influences, the internal influences, and taking action on what you know, you're going to benefit from it. Okay, so there's 2 key things I want you to keep in mind as you approach your analysis. And these are 2 of my favorite things from an article called 12 Tips for Doing Competitive Analysis. This is originally published on allbusiness.com. I will share a link to this article on merchantmethod.com in the trend report on Thursday. Number 1, you need to think broadly about what competition is. As I mentioned earlier, the way that someone might spend their money now is different than the way they might have spent it 15 years ago. The reason why is we've moved away from such a heavy product-based way to satisfy our needs to a lot of service-based and experience-based ways to satisfy our needs. So I like to think of, if I have a client who's formulating and selling wonderful candles, her competition might include the spa, the hair salon, and a floral shop, because they're all different ways to show care for self. A few of them are different ways to show care for your home. And customers will be thinking not only about her candle versus another candle, but her candle versus other different ways to spend their money. So think really broadly about what competition is. But also, when you open your mind to think broadly, you'll never know what you might learn from someone outside of your industry. So I'll often suggest that if you're doing any competitive analysis, you're going outside of your industry as well, which is why I really enjoy restaurants. I really enjoy retail stores, and I really enjoy 1 to 2 hour academic classes to as deep as a 7-day workshop. They're experiential things, and all of them can lead to deep insight about your customer. Secondly, I will always suggest, if you're able to elevate and have support operating your business, I will always suggest to really look at that meaningfully and see if it makes sense for your business, and develop a plan so that you can have it make sense. The one thing that I will not suggest you delegate is competitive analysis. There is going to be hardly anyone with as much motivation, with as much passion, with as much insight about your customer as you. If you have trusted people on your team, they can help you with pieces here and there, or they can be part of a process, but I would not delegate the entire competitive analysis to someone other than you. Okay, now that you've heard two perspectives from me, here are 4 of my favorite ways to conduct research. This is the homework that you have for the week. So the first is, study the customer experience by being the customer. Don't study the customer experience in an academic way. We don't retail in our mind. We don't retail from memory. We don't retail theoretically. We retail by having an actual interaction with a customer. And in order to understand your customers' actual interactions with other customers, be that customer. There are 2 ways you can do it. If there's a brick and mortar location, go to that brick and mortar location and spend some time there. If they have a website, go to the website and spend some time there. Don't look at it from a high level perspective. Actually engage. Let someone help you. Let someone engage with you. You don't have to spend money, but just spend some time in the experience. I take photos a lot. I find them really inspirational. I'm not trying to copy something. You can never replicate exactly what someone tries to do. And so competitive analysis from Pinterest only is dangerous. You need to get in there. You need to have engagement. What works for someone else in that exact formula may or may not work for you, but you won't know until you study. Number 2, study the market positioning. And I think if you really want to dive into study the marketing positioning and you want to try your hand at a more formal analysis, this might be where you can insert some SWOT analysis or some PEST analysis or Porter's 5 forces. Really, this is where you're understanding things like, what's the pricing strategy? Is it full price, off price? Is it promotional? Are they selling inventory primarily through a service like online shopping or online shopping services? Is the customer shopping by occasion first, by style first, or by values first? So if you want more information to understand market position, watch the trend report prior to this around style, selling, and sales. I'll also link the article, the Cron article on merchantmethod.com. Again, it's a quick 1-pager to give you a retail perspective on SWOT analysis. I like it. It's good. The third thing you need to do is you actually, even though we are service first and a happy customer and a customer that comes back will always remember how you made them feel, we would be ignoring forces that influence purchases if we didn't look at price. So take some time to study price. You don't have to study the exact same item across your competitors. You can study items that are pretty similar. If you sell a black dress and your competitor doesn't have a black dress, what might your customer buy instead, and study that. In addition to studying price in person, you can do it online. Super simple to do it online. But don't forget to study shipping, because shipping is an important part of online purchasing decisions. If it wasn't, the proliferation of online shopping wouldn't have, it wouldn't have come to be the way it came to be if shipping prices weren't important online. The other thing I would encourage you to do is study return and exchange policies. It's an important part of the purchase, whether you have a generous one or you don't have one at all. Study your competitors' return and exchange policies. I think of those as customer care. And then number 4, see how your competition is engaging with customers and see how your customers are engaging back. This is not merely looking at number of followers and looking at number of likes. Follows and likes don't necessarily indicate engagement. So look at how your competition is actually engaging with, typing out responses to customers. See if customers' comments are getting responded to. Go on Facebook, check out all these different ways that your competition engages with customers to assess, and then also actively look for customer reviews. Not every business is on Yelp, but there are a lot of independent and small businesses on Yelp, and a lot of customers that leave reviews, whether or not the business has a commercial account with Yelp. So have a look at what customers are saying. And if you do these 4 things, if you become a customer of the business, that might take you 1 hour if you went in person or online. If you study the marketing position, you can do that formally or not, and you can get a lot of that information from copy on the website, the about page, the home page, product copy, newsletter copy. Compare prices and see how the business is engaging with customers and see how customers are engaging back. If you schedule 2 to 3 hours for the year on this, for half one, February through July, you are going to thank yourself, because you are immediately going to start to uncover different perspectives. And in that experience of uncovering different perspectives by studying someone else, by studying other businesses, when it comes time for you to assess your own business with this new filter, you will indeed be asking better questions and getting better answers, and therefore making better informed choices. So I'm so excited for you to do this. You possess the analysis, and this is what you need to remain compelling and competitive in this highly changing, highly volatile retail environment. So thank you so much for watching Competitive Analysis for Retail Businesses. Don't forget, tune in every Tuesday at 2 p.m. for more Merchant Method Trend Reports. And until then, this is Chris Guillo. Thank you.